Alright, be honest, you have faced this. You are using Arch or any Arch based distro, and before installing something from AUR repo, you pause for a second and think, is this gonna break my system? What if the dependencies mess things up? Or maybe there can be a case you find a cool app, but it's only available as a Debian package, and now you're just stuck. So what do you end up doing? You try another distro, spinning up a VM just to run one application. It gets annoying, But what if you didn't have to do any of that? Today I'll show you a tool that lets you run any Linux distro inside your current system safely. So you can install anything, try anything, and if something breaks, you don't need to worry about anything because it won't break your system. So let's get right into it. Okay, so we will be installing the Distrobox first, and let's see what are the dependencies. So we have Podman and Docker. You can also check out the Lilypod. It can also be used to create the containers and manage it, but we will be using the Podman and Docker. So let's fire up a terminal here. We will be installing the dependencies as well as the Distrobox. So let's type in sudo pacman docker podman and the Distrobox. Type in your password. Let it install it. Okay, once this is installed, you need to configure the Docker first on your host system if it is not already configured. So first you need to create the Docker group if it doesn't exist. So let's just type in group add and Docker, so it will create the group Docker. In my case it already exists, so it will not recreate it. Next you need to add the user to your Docker group. You can use the command sudo usermod -a capital G space docker and then your user. It will just add your user to the Docker group, and post this you may need to log off and log in again, and post that you need to enable the service for the Docker, which can be done via this command systemctl and then enable now and Docker. So it will enable your Docker service. Type in your password and boom, it's done. Next we can see what is the documentation, what are the options that we can use for the Distrobox itself. Let's clear it first, and now type in first tldr distrobox. So this is just another tool. Let me just fire it up first. So this is just another tool which show you the simple help pages for your command, for any command. So let's type in again tldr. Let's clear it up first, tldr and then Distrobox. Here you can see all of the commands available for the Distrobox. Distrobox create to create the container. To list the container you can create this command, and then to enter inside the container once it is created, Distrobox enter. And there are multiple other commands as well which you can see. So first we need to create a box for our machine, which can be done via this, and we will be spinning up a Arch container. So let's just type in this command. You can specify your name via this and then specify which Linux distro you want to create. So let's press enter. It will just install it. In my case it is already downloaded, so it just created it right away, but it may take a few minutes or seconds in your case. Next you can enter the created machine using this command. Let's copy this and type in. Now it will install the basic packages for your container for Arch, and then we can directly use the container. Okay, so the basic packages are installed and everything is set up on your machine, and now you are inside the Distrobox. Here you can see this little icon which indicates that we are inside the box, and that is Arch with this user. Let's fast fetch. I think that would not be available. Let's install it first. Okay, yes. Okay, now do it again, and here we go. Arch running inside your cachyos Linux system. You can spin it up in any Linux machine which you are running right now, and you can also spin up most of containers which are supported by the Distrobox. You can check out the website and also see the documentation for it. Now let's say you want to install another app. Let's just say you want to use Chromium application inside your Arch, but you don't want its dependencies to clutter your main system. So you will just be installing it here and then export the application as a link kind of, which you can see on your host machine, and you can just directly run it from there. So let's install Chromium. Press yes, let it install, and then we will export this application so that we can see it inside our host machine, and we'll fire it up from there. Great. Now your Chromium is installed inside your Arch machine. Now you can simply export it via this command, Distrobox export, specify the app, and then the app name and press enter. The application Chromium is successfully exported. Then you can just search for it, and here we go. You have Chromium, and which is specified that it is present on Arch, and you can just directly launch it. Isn't it great? You can also install other type of applications which you don't want to clutter your main system, but you want to test it out. It can be risky on your main machine because it can break your dependencies or anything. So you can just try it out. Or maybe you want to just test out a different distros and different package managers on your host machine without changing your host machine or dual booting your system or firing up a virtual machine. You can do it right away with this application. This is very handy. Also, if you want to use the GPU acceleration inside the container itself, you can check out the documentation. Maybe I'll try to make up another video on another weekend. For now, you can just check out its documentation from here. You can search the NVIDIA on the Distrobox website, and here you can see that you can use the GPU inside the container using the NVIDIA container toolkit if you have NVIDIA, or maybe AMD. In that case, you can search it here, and here you can see that for NVIDIA you can use the NVIDIA flag during the create. So we just need to specify like this, and maybe you guys can try this out and let me know in the comments like how was the experience for you. Were you able to create the container? And let me know if you face any issue. Till then, goodbye and donk.